What's going on, everyone? Super excited to be back for year 11 for me of making these videos. Year 11 of me sitting in front of my camera by myself and you listening to me. And I appreciate each and every single one of you. I have changed over the years a lot, my opinions on things in certain aspects of football and, roster building and the way front offices should be run and whatnot have changed so much throughout the years. I went back and looked at some of what I thought, and it's hilarious. But I guess when you're mired in like a big losing streak like the Bills were previously to their playoff appearance in 2017, it really starts to put things in perspective for you, and you become open to trying new things and looking at the game a different way. The analytical crowd obviously has played a big factor in that, like the Pro Football Reference guys and whatnot, and just the way the analytics are used in sports in general. And I'm a big proponent of that, to be honest with you. I wouldn't call myself analytics guy, but I think you're foolish to ignore it. And I look forward to talking more with you guys about things like that this year. We've reached week 1, super excited about it. Just realized I'm wearing green, sorry, I'm not a Jets fan. The shirt though, anybody know? You know, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, grew up on that. Yeah, thanks for the compliments ahead of time on the shirt. But, again, I apologize for the green, because it's Jet Week. But before we get to the Jets, I'm going to slow things down just a little bit because the Bills released their 53-man roster in the past week, and maybe the biggest move in the league, the biggest release in the league, can you think of one bigger, was the Bills releasing LeSean McCoy. And it gave me some mixed feelings because I get it, but I liked him. I wanted him on the team. I think I'd rather have him than not have him. But like I said, I understand. Shady had some really good moments, I guess. Actually, I'm gonna make a point on that too. He had some really good games or moments or seasons for the Bills, but this is a serious question. What would you call his defining moment with the Bills? A couple things come to mind for me. I like him playing through the ankle injury in the playoff game against Jacksonville. That comes to mind. And the snow game against the Colts, the winning touchdown run. Those would be and those were 4 weeks apart from each other. Because without the snow game win, obviously the Bills don't go to the playoffs in 2017 or snap the drought, whatever. So I don't know, I'm kind of asking you, how will you remember LeSean McCoy as a member of the Bills? Because obviously I remember the trade and thinking the trade was still to this day amazing because Kiko Alonso was getting traded. The Eagles didn't want him, the Dolphins now don't want him, and where did he get traded to? The Saints? Something like that? Whatever. Obviously I'd make the trade 10 times out of 10 looking back. It's just, I get it. I guess reverting back to that point, I get it. Devin Singletary played well enough in the preseason to make me want to see more of him. I loved the addition of TJ Yeldon when he was added, because I think he's your ideal third down back, your ideal pass catching back. And then, there's Frank Gore, the crafty veteran, maybe more than a crafty veteran. He's been around forever. I'm sure he was a little bit upset when Shady was released, because I know him and Shady are best buddies, and there was a report that Shady actually had him, recruited him to the Bills. So that was looking like it was going to be a fun tandem there, and now Shady's gone. But I wish him the best of luck, obviously, in Kansas City. The guy nearly brought tears to my eyes. Nearly brought tears to my eyes with the Instagram post that he left, or it might have been on Twitter as well. It's kind of like everybody's impression of Buffalo. It's oh, I don't really want to play in Buffalo, play for the Bills. Till you get there, you just suck it up and you go. And granted, he had some incentive because they gave him a brand new contract as well. But I don't know, you just fall in love with the city. If you're outside of Buffalo right now and watching this, and you might think it sucks. Oh, I've been there. Buffalo sucks. okay. I mean, you're not trying very hard, to be honest with you. You're not trying very hard. I'm not going to go off on some Buffalo spiel because I could do that probably for hours, honestly. And it's just, listen to LeSean McCoy. Sean Merriman said something similar. Like, everyone said it. I digress. So, best of luck to LeSean McCoy. Again, how will you remember him? What is your signature moment with him, with the Bills? I know that there were a couple of off-the-field topics with him as well, and maybe you might remember those. But I'll remember having fun watching him, and I was eager to see him again this year. I thought he was pretty due for a bounce-back year, but at the same time, I understand. I remain eager to see Devin Singletary. I think maybe he showed enough that maybe he is the type of runner that Brian Daboll wants for his offense, and that might make sense to me because McCoy struggled at times last year. I mean, the offensive line was insert an adjective. I've heard plenty of them, but it left more to be desired, to say the very least. And now you got a bunch of new guys in there, and I think a lot of Bills fans thought that McCoy was due for a bounce back, but I think a lot of Bills fans are in my position as well. We get it. So LeSean McCoy's gone. I think the Gore, Singletary, Yeldon is like an ideal backfield. You got like a good between the tackles runner, a young promising rookie, and rookies come into this league and succeed all the time. So can't wait to see more of Devin Singletary, and then Yeldon, like I said, the ideal third down pass catching back. That's something the Bills haven't had. I know that McCoy caught a lot of passes, but I thought they were mostly checkdowns. It wasn't incorporated into the passing game. It was just they were given to him because it was there. And I think Yeldon could be incorporated into the passing game. I don't know about on the same level as James White for New England, but maybe that type of role. The receiving core was a huge topic of conversation. And a whole off season because we didn't really know who was going to make the team, and it ends up, we kind of did know who was definitely making the team. Foster, even though he played a lot in the preseason, which was kind of weird. Zay Jones played a lot in the preseason, which was also kind of weird. And then obviously Brown, Beasley, and then Andre Roberts. What's funny is Andre Roberts probably was even on this team because of the game he had with the Jets against the Bills last year. When the Jets were in Buffalo and they won. Andre Roberts had a long kick return. He did fumble once on a kick return, if I remember correctly. I think at the start of the half he might have fumbled the kick return, but he had a couple long kick returns. One that he almost took the house, and then the Bills were probably like, "Well, we got to get this guy." There's a bolster our kick return, but I get it. He actually did some nice things in the passing game, I thought, in the preseason too, and he demonstrated that he can play receiver. The final receiver spot went to Isaiah McKenzie, who, much like last year, showed that he's unstoppable on jet sweeps maybe in the preseason, but that he could be of some value to this team. The drop's got to stop. He's a little weird with the football sometimes, but I thought they would probably keep McLeod over him, to be honest with you, and they ended up losing McLeod to Carolina. I thought the coaching staff liked Ray a little bit more than Isaiah McKenzie, but the team was hard to make, and you can't say that about a lot of Bills teams of the past. The Bills were a difficult team to make this year. They had a lot of depth, and I love that about that. They had 3 players picked up by other teams. That was the third most in the league. Deion Lacey and Ryan Lewis were also picked up, along with Ray McLeod. That's intriguing to me. We have depth. They kept 10 offensive linemen. They kept 5 tight ends. They threw Kroom on IR. Now they have 4 tight ends. They have 10 defensive backs, and I could see all of them playing. I would be okay with all of them playing. There's some that rookies and stuff that might make you a little bit nervous here or there, but if you got to put spot players in there for a couple snaps here or there, or even a game, there's guys there that I guess I'm okay with. You might be like, that might be a mismatch or some sort of matchup issue that a team might try to exploit, but it is what it is. I mean, like, I'm optimistic. Here I am, optimistic again. I'm always ever the optimist. Forever. Ugh. Let me know what you think about the roster build-up, the roster makeup. What, you know, if anything surprised you or not. Maybe you know, maybe it's just McCoy. But you know, I've been about 10 minutes in the video, and I do want to talk about the Jets, obviously, because it is week 1. The Jets, I think, are kind of constructed a lot like the Bills. I mean, with the exception of like Le'Veon Bell is maybe like their LeSean McCoy, like they brought in Le'Veon Bell. But like Darnold, Allen, like maybe Robbie Anderson is like their John Brown, Quincy Enunwa is their Zay Jones, and now they have Jamison Crowder, who's maybe their Cole Beasley, Chris Herndon, Tyler Kroft. Both might miss the first couple games. Herndon suspension, Kroft with a foot injury, we don't know yet. They both rebuilt their offensive lines. Kelechi Osemele, I think that's pronounced for the Jets. Ryan Khalil, Mitch Morse, Quinn Spain, you know, and drafting Cody Ford. Defensively, Ed Oliver, Quinnen Williams, Tremaine Edmonds, C.J. Mosley, Micah Hyde, Jamal Williams, Marcus May, Jordan Poyer, Jermaine Johnson, Tre'Davious White. Like, you see where I'm going here? Like, these are... Like, and granted, there's advantages somewhere in there. Like, I think Jamal Adams might even be the best player on the field on Sunday. Like, I love Jamal Adams. But you know, like I said, I'm just trying to draw comparisons here. I'm not saying they're all equal, but you know, they're similar, comparable at least. So I think if you're the Jets, you know, new head coach Adam Gase, new defensive coordinator Greg Williams, I think both teams, Jets, Bills, you look at this game, like, if you're serious about being good, this is a game you win. I think that no Jet fan looks at this game and is like, we're really in tough against the Bills. And no Bills fan, I think, looks at the game and thinks we're really in tough against the Jets. I think that being on the road week 1 is a little bit tough. Like I said, I don't think that we've got it, you know, rough against the Jets. I think the Jets are beatable. You know, we went there last year and won 41-10. Granted, completely different team, but then again, the Bills are the only team the Jets beat over the last 10 games. Bills are the only team the Jets beat over the last 10 games of the season last year. They were 1-9. They went into Buffalo and beat the Bills. You know, you know, the Bills played really good defensively that game. I thought there was just some turnovers, missed field goals on the Bills' part. You know, Robbie Anderson got loose a couple times on Trey White. You know, the game really never felt in danger. But suddenly you're losing, and then you lose. I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, the Jets turned the ball over multiple times in like 9 games last year. Like, that's a huge issue with them. So I got to see some changes there. But I love that they got stronger for the Jets. Like, they went Quinn Williams, C.J. Mosley, like Jamal Adams, like one at each level. That is super impressive to me. I think you got the best player in the draft, honestly, Quinn Williams. Literally never seen him lose a matchup. I'm sure it'll happen. But you get the best, like, really good defensive tackle up the middle, a really good middle linebacker, and then a really, really good safety back there. And I think that is going to make, you know, a world of difference for the Jets this year. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions with the Bills. Like, if Josh Allen's going to take these underneath throws to Beasley like he did in preseason, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. If he's still going to run a little bit, maybe not as much, be a threat with his legs, that's still huge. How is he going to use John Brown? We didn't really get to see John Brown too much. How is Devin Singletary going to perform in the offense? How are they going to split the workload between Gore and Singletary and Yeldon? Remains to be seen. I picked the Bills to win last year, week 1, and they lost 47-3. So this year I'm going to pick the Bills to lose. I'm going to pick the Bills to lose to the Jets 20-17. Again, I think it's a game that they can win. I'm just going to pick them to lose because I've got a bad taste in my mouth about last year because I picked them to win and Nathan Peterman was the starting quarterback and they lost by 44 on the road. So there's that. Guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Jets, what you think about the season. Here we are, year 11. I want to thank you guys for coming this far in the video. As always, hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is the same as my YouTube username. Have a good weekend, and as always, go Bills.